Hey fellow gardeners, Dawn here from Seasonal Designs. For those of you who are new to my channel, I garden in Wisconsin in Zone 5. It is nearing the end of September and it is just a beautiful fall morning. The sky is a little bit overcast, which keeps the temperatures down. There's a beautiful breeze, which means no mosquitoes. And today what I want to do is we are going to be adding some additional perennials, little plugs, into my prairie. Now, I've been meaning to do this for a couple of years and I just really haven't had the opportunity. But every year I'd like to order a flat or two of small plugs and start adding them in pockets in my prairie. I want to do this because I'd like to add other varieties of true native perennials in our prairie here. And this is one of the ways that I can do it. But we're going to talk a little bit more about it. Let's get started. So in the shipment comes your packing list. You also get important information about your plant shipment. There's also a fall dormant plant advisory in here, which just says that, especially if you have spring blooming plants in here or spring plants in here, you may see that they're going dormant, completely normal. Mine are really more fall plants, so mine, as you saw, are not dormant at all. And then there's also some transplanting information, what to do when you first get your order, to unpack them, where to store them until you can plant them, and just some good information about planting, mulching, and care for your new little plugs. What I'm doing today is called fall planting. I have ordered an entire flat of perennials from Prairie Nursery. And those of you who have seen my video on how we established our prairie know that I do really like, there's two companies, online companies, that I really like to order from. The stuff that I got today is from Prairie Nursery. So let me grab those plants and just kind of give you a peek at what they look like. Now I've got yellow leaves in here from my tree that's starting to lose their leaves, but I have just put together two different types of native perennials for in my prairie here, ones that I think will do well and are correct for my specific site and the conditions that I have here. One of them, the first one I have, is Rattlesnake Master. And this plant gets about 3 to 5 feet tall. It loves full sun. The soil moisture can be dry or medium. And this is a really cool plant, and I'll pop up a picture of what it looks like in bloom. The other one that I ordered is called a compass plant. And this one gets about 3 to 10 feet tall, loves full sun, and the soil moisture is dry to medium as well, which is pretty much what our prairie is. Now, what I've done is, and let me show you the size of these little plugs here. So this is about how big this is, and what I have done is I've made sure that these are moist. You do not want to plant any plant into a prairie situation, or even when you're planting them in your garden where the root ball is dry. You're going to want to make sure it is nice and moist. All right, the next thing you want to do if you have an existing prairie is you're going to want to mow everything down to the ground so that there's nothing shading any of these plants, because they do love full sun. So I have a pocket here, and my husband has come through, cut this down, and then he's also drilled some holes in here that are much bigger than the plug, and this is where I will be planting these. This is the second area here off of our path as you're heading out into the back side of the prairie. And this is a bit larger of an area, so there are about 20 holes in here. But again, everything is mowed down to the ground, and then all of those plugs are drilled in for me. So this location is right off the path through the prairie as well, but it's over here just a little bit away from the greenhouse where I already have a very large patch of Maximilian sunflower, which gets very tall, but I'd like to start adding some more height in various patches. All right, so I just want to kind of show you how deep this hole is. This hole is much, much deeper than my actual plant is. So if I would pop this little root ball in here, it would get buried and it wouldn't do well. So you want to make sure that you do have some soil in the bottom of that. And the other thing I want to show you is the root ball itself. Look at how healthy this root ball is on this little plant. So this is a compass plant. I'm going to make sure that he has enough soil in there so that he is not buried. And then I'm going to just sit him right on top, and then I'm going to backfill with all of this soil. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to add any rich soil or any compost or anything like that. You're going to want to make sure you get all the soil tucked in down around his root ball, just like that. All right, I am just going to show you one of the other plants here. And the other thing I noticed is that these are quite easy to rip open, which is good because they really have a good root system. So they make it so that these split open easy. They're easy to get out of this for the most part, just like that, because you can rip them open. And then again, I'm just going to make sure that this guy has a good base there to sit on. I'm going to pop them in, and I'm going to make sure that I fill up all the way around him with some soil. Now, when I come back and water all of these, if I do need to add additional soil around his root ball, I will be able to do that. Of the plants are in both areas, and I might come back with some grass clippings and just sprinkle it around the area a little bit as a little bit of a mulch. You know, true or full disclosure, I mean, this is an experiment for me. I'm not sure if what's here currently is going to be too much competition for these plants, although both of these plants are fairly aggressive as far as prairie plants go. So I'm going to watch and see what happens. If I need to, next spring, I might come out here and just spray around each one of these and kill everything that's immediately around them so that they have less competition. I will also keep this area cut so that they get enough sunlight. And we'll just have to see, you know, how this experiment goes. I just really didn't want to just come in and kill an entire area, but I would consider coming back and killing directly around each of the planting sites just to make sure that they have a chance to get established. Kind of coming out here from the back corner. the house. The greenhouse is behind that big tree. You can see all that bright yellow Maximilian sunflower there. And then all of the blue salvia, which I'm hoping you can see. Some of the goldenrod that's in here. Well, this is the time of year when the grasses really start to get pretty. They are just starting to get their really pretty seed heads on them. So this hillside here has a lot of both big and little blue stem on it. And it's just kind of starting to turn now. Starting to turn color. It will intensify in color as the season goes on and the colder it gets. But I'm hoping you can see some of this gorgeous color in just the stalks of these beautiful grasses. This is little blue stem right here. One of my favorite grasses. And again, this whole hillside is really kind of full of it. And then as you go along, there's just another huge patch of it over there. And then this is one of my favorite areas right here because of all of the grass. Just a big pocket of it. I love the pockets of grasses in here because they're so pretty in the fall. This will just again intensify in this beautiful kind of purple color and the way it just kind of moves with the wind. And then some big blue stem over here. Still that beautiful purple color starting to show. And these intense, almost reddish purple stalks up to the grass heads. And then right around the corner here is where we planted. You can't really see much. Other than a mowed down area, but if we get in close here, you'll be able to see some of the plants. Now, some of them have a bit more foliage. That's a rattlesnake master. The compass plant, just a couple of leaves. Doesn't look like much now, I know. So you might be wondering why I chose to plant my plugs in fall. Because both spring and fall get more moisture, and both spring and fall are cooler. But the deciding factor for me is that typically in fall, things in my prairie are starting to go dormant, whereas in spring, things are bursting with life and there's a lot of competition on my little plugs. So that's why I am planting these in fall. Again, you saw that I tried to eliminate some of the competition for my little plugs. I'm going to keep an eye on them throughout fall, make sure they get good moisture. And then in spring, I will come in and make sure that there's nothing growing taller than they are so that they can still get the sunlight that they need to mature. So we'll check back on this. And I hope you guys hit the bell so that you can be reminded when I post my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.